Soft on crime consequences showing up again, this time in Sunday's deadly shooting in Sacramento that left 6 people dead and a dozen others injured. Police arresting Smiley Martin, who was released from prison just weeks ago. The career criminal was out on parole 6 years early from his 10-year sentence for a brutal assault on his girlfriend. The DA adamantly opposed his release, writing this in a letter to the parole board, quote, "Inmate Martin clearly has little regard for human life and the law. If he is released early, he will continue to break the law." That's pretty clear. But despite that, they let Martin walk free. California gubernatorial candidate Michael Schellenberger knows who's at fault. Quote, "Responsibility for the mass shooting, which killed a homeless woman, lies with Governor Gavin Newsom, who appointed the head of the California Department of Corrections, which already reduced California's prison population by nearly 30,000 inmates since 2019. And get this, and is seeking to reduce it by an additional 76,000, which means not only is it going to get worse, California's leaders know that it's going to get worse, and they're not going to do a damn thing about it. So, Judge, how can they this is what gets me. They knew when they released the 30,000, they called it like collateral damage. I can't remember which DA, might have been Gascon, was saying that, like, you know, it's good. There's going to be people that are going to reoffend.
Reoffend, right.
You got 70,000 people. Can they stop this? Is it?
Probably not, because, you know, the DA in the case that you referenced with Smiley Martin, and I spoke to her, she's a friend of mine, Anne-Marie Schubert, said, "We did everything we could to keep this guy in jail. He's a prior violent felon. He was convicted again of a felony. He got a 10-year sentence in 2018, and then all of a sudden they give him," and she said, "Janine, it's not early parole. This is not parole. This is just a paper review."
Right.
They just come up with it. They make the law as they go along. They do it on paper and they decide. I said, but wait a minute. Did they give him good time? What did he do? She said they make up good time. There is lawlessness on the West Coast right now. We are in the Wild West. This guy had a fully automatic machine gun. It was fully auto. And 100 bullets in a civilized society, it's not going to end until we take the people out who believe in all of this social justice nonsense. Because social justice, to me, if this is social justice, it equates with attacking American citizens.
Geraldo, I'm not a lawyer, although I have pretended to be one. Why can't there be like a class action suit by victims' families? You know, because that could sue the state into bankruptcy. That seems to me to be one solution.
I don't know any that have succeeded. Many have tried because they make for a big first day, big headline. But then they go nowhere. They get eaten up in school. I mean, in overtime. What I want to talk about is, remember super predators during the Clinton administration?
I remember.
You know, those who commit crimes without remorse, without regard to the consequences, either to the victim or even to themselves. And then we went to this, you know, a different kind of reformist kind of with shorter sentences, low or no bail, trying to move away from the fact that America is the country with the largest per capita population in prison, and try to remedy that. What if there is such a thing, such a super predator? I submit to you that Smiley Martin, as you describe him, Judge, with the record that he had, with the remorseless violence, with the savage relationship he had with the woman in his life, and the fact that he spent his time, as soon as he got out of prison, working on a weapon to make it a full automatic, and then the first provocation in this club, whatever it is, an altercation apparently, then starts mowing people down, killing 6 innocent people, including a homeless woman. What if there are super predators? What if the social scientists of recent past have erred horribly and made a misjudgment here about human nature that we're all suffering the consequences?
It's a good point. And I think, you know, Jesse, yesterday I brought up the fact that how the left is known for compassion, but you hear the victims were mostly minority. One was a homeless woman, but they're victims of liberal policies.
They are, and you're never going to get answers from these people. They'll hide. This guy was a pimp. He beat up his girlfriend. The girlfriend was turning tricks for him, and he chased her out into the street, punched her in the face, then whipped her with a belt. She ran back inside the closet, and he beat her up again. This guy's a bad dude. And Newsom appointed the parole board that let this guy out. These are all handpicked people by Newsom. And you get the ideology from the Department of Corrections lady, again, a Newsom appointee. Her name is Kathleen Allison, and she wants to let out 76,000 more inmates, and the Correctional Officers Union are suing her because this is so dangerous. Her biography on the website, she brags about expedited release of inmates, and she says we're now at the lowest prison population in 30 years, like that's a good thing. She also says on the website that her focus is on rehabilitation and restorative justice. So there you go. She doesn't even call them prisoners or felons on the website. They say in California they call them incarcerated people. That's what we're dealing with here. So the whole government in California is infected with these liberal ideologues. They're infested. It's not just Gavin. It's all the little people that he plugs in through patronage and all these boards and all these places. And they're the ones making these horrible decisions, and it's costing people's lives.
Yeah, it's in true justice, these early releases should go and move in with the people that have them released.
Absolutely.
That would be, remember that? But I think we covered it where homeless people were allowed to live with other. They should do that with these releases
in San Francisco.
Yes, that's what they should do with people like this.
Well, you bring up Michael Schellenberger, and he is actually running for a governor in California. So it's there will be an option, a choice in a couple of years. You could have a reasonable person. He's not a right-wing fringe candidate. This
was a Democrat, and he's registered independent.
And then he said that he dug into the issues. He wanted to understand why the policies weren't working, and he has come to different conclusions about how to lead. And he does a lot for drug addicts as well. The California government is in breach of contract with its citizens. So to your point, so could you sue?
Yeah.
It would be an interesting thing to see. The other one point I wanted to make is that immediately that day we had the statements from Joe Biden and others saying we need gun control immediately. And as I've said, and I. But then they never put out statements when you find out what happened and who the suspect is, and that he has prior convictions, and that he was let out early.
Right.
You never hear anybody say anything about that.
Cover-up. It's basically a cover-up for their own flaws.
Well, there's also something called sovereign immunity. That would be a defense in many of these cases. You could sue for malicious prosecution because the prosecutor was malicious in prosecuting you.
Right.
But to go in on the other end and say they're not doing enough or to protect the citizenry, that's where you run into, of sovereign immunity, where the government has a defense.
Yeah.
We're in the government. You can't sue us.
Oh.
I remember Biden in the 90s was very tough on crime.
Yeah, but, he had a change of heart.
He did.
No, he forgot.
Yeah, he did. He forgot. I was being facetious. But, when you bring up Schellenberger, I think this has to be hung around Gavin Newsom's neck. And I think Schellenberger is probably the most exciting political candidate I've seen in a long time. And he identifies the problems, but he wrote 2 books with solutions.
Yeah.
They're in there. So, I think that Newsom has got to pay for this. And people in California should look at Schellenberger. If you don't like me, just discount my opinion.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.